Apple to announce the next generation iPhones next month. Robert Downey Jr. is HTC's new marketing strategy, and Sony will bring some high-end camera adapters after all. I'm Jaime Rivera, and no, sadly Michael Fisher has already confirmed that he will not be wearing his Iron Man suit for this HTC gig, but this is Pocketnow Daily. Let's start today off with some official news. We've all complained about HTC being terrible when it comes to marketing, and they've now hired Robert Downey Jr. as their new guru to figure out new ways to use the letters HTC in new names. And we're still trying to figure out. This campaign is called HTC Change. You can watch the first video and the links in the description. And so far, even though it's not as funny as we expected, it still is a step in the right direction. Great to see that, HTC. And on the unofficial news that are still cool, we finally get the first press renders, or at least the leaked ones of the HTC One Max, and it looks like an HTC One. So links in the description to see that as well. Now, even though HTC put the rumors to rest about the company being sold, the company that's actually making it a strategy to get sold is BlackBerry. They just published their new thoughts on what to do to get the company back in the game, and since their BlackBerry 10 launch was terrible, apparently one of the things that the company is considering is a buyout, and it begs to wonder which company will buy BlackBerry. Stay tuned for that. Now, we're just a couple of weeks away from IFA in Berlin. We know that the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 is going to be one of the first phones to get announced, but we hadn't really landed some official specs, or at least from a trusted source as we have today. And listen to this, I'm just going to say a couple of things. First of all, 5.68-inch display and the 13-megapixel camera with optical image stabilization. It does seem as if Samsung plans to make this phone not just the bigger version of the Galaxy S4. Links in the description for the full list of specifications. This will be a hot phone. If those things are true, it'll be cool. Now, speaking of September, All Things D has just pretty much confirmed that Apple's next generation iPhone or iPhones will be announced on September 10th. This apparently will be the date for the event. And even though it's really hard to confirm right now if all those iPhone 5C and iPhone 5S leaks are kind of true, well, it's historically been that case for the last couple of years. So September 10th, which is just a couple of days after IFA, set it on your calendar. And finally, for the hot news of the day, a couple of weeks ago it was reported that Sony was working on building these lens adapters for their Sony Xperia lineup in order for you to build these phones into a full-fledged camera whenever you need to, as these lenses are apparently independent from the phone. They don't require the phone's camera, they just use the phone as storage. It's a really interesting concept, interesting idea. They'll even have their own battery power apparently, and we finally get the first leaked photograph of this lens, and it begs to wonder. I mean, that leads me to the question of the day. Judging by this photo, I mean, do you feel that this is a good idea that we get this lens adapter instead of a big hump for a good camera on a phone that you can always carry around? In my particular case, honestly, if I need a good camera, I'm always going to be carrying it, so it's great to just have the option to adapt it to my phone. I just wonder how the whole sensor thing is going to work, but leave us a comment down below. What do you think? And friends, as always, if you want earlier news before this video gets recorded, you can also follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You can also follow me on Twitter at Jaime_Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I am Jaime Rivera. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow.